Good Thursday morning. Trust everyone's having a good week. Get the slideshow started here. I want to talk to you this morning for just a couple of minutes here about Brother TJ's message on Sunday, in which he entitled Man Made New. And I'm going to look at points, I think it was 2 and 3, down with the old, up with the new. And so in studying and preparing for this, I ran across this slide here, which kind of sums up what I was wanting to talk to you about. But dying to live. And Brother TJ talked about several points and talking about baptism, and we got to see more people baptized there Sunday after church. But he was talking about that, the meaning of baptism and the death to sin, and how that we are buried, and baptism is the symbol of the submersion of dying, going under the water, and Christ dying and then raising to a newness of life. And the scriptures that he talked about was found in Romans 6, 1 through 4, which say, "What shall we say then? Shall we continue to sin that grace may abound?" And that was the first question he opened up the sermon with. It says, "God forbid, how shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? Know ye not that so many of us, as were baptized into Jesus, were baptized unto his death? Therefore we are buried with him by baptism unto death, that like as Christ was raised from the dead by the glory of the Father, even so we also should walk in a newness of life." And so in that we are dead to sin. And then if you go on and look at this next verse here in Romans 5 and 24, it says this. It says, "And they that are in Christ have crucified the flesh, that with the affections and lust." And so the old man, we see our old sins, the old person, our old desires. Brother Jody talked about that on Tuesday, about not being the man that he once was. And those of us that are in Christ, we should all be able to say that the old man, the old desires, our flesh, and the things that used to control us no longer does. Not saying that we're perfect, we're not, but the old self has been buried with Christ. So those sins are buried. They're done with. Okay. And then we are raised, and we saw that in verse 4. We are buried with him in baptism into death, that like Christ, we are raised from the dead by the glory of the Father. And we want to end with this right here, Colossians 3, 1 through 3. If ye then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of God. And so a lot of times we ask, what God's will is for our life. Well, set your affections on things above, not on things of the earth. In other words, good reminder for me is don't get so caught up in the things of this world. We live in this world, but we're not of this world. These are just stepping stone days that we are having. And we know that our affections are on things that of eternal value. And there's nothing of this life that has eternal value to it. It says, "For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Christ in God." Okay. And so that old man is done away with. We don't have to live in the past. We get to live with the affections of eternity, things that are of Christ. Okay. So I like the part that we are dying to live. We have buried the old man. The things of this world does not own us. They don't confine us. They don't define us. We live with a newness of life. We live with a new purpose of life, things in which are eternal. And so many times the things that weigh us down in this life are temporal. The fears, the anxiety, the worry that may creep in. Those are not things that have any eternal value to it. Eternal value, the things of Christ, the newness of life that we have in Christ, are the things that, should be what motivates us. The things that we realize that, this is just a vapor, and one day soon, we all get to live with Christ. And so just let this be a reminder to you, um, as the other guys have shared throughout the week, that, the old man, if you have been saved, is dead. You now live a new life. You're a new person raised in the glory of Christ. And therefore, we should walk that way. We should set um, our desires and our goals should be things of eternal value, the things of Christ. So I hope that you got something out of this today. Um, if you're like me, sometimes we have to refocus. Don't let the things of this life hold you down. Let your light shine. You're a new man or a new woman in Christ. Love you all. Have a great